While Eazy-E, the de facto leader of N.W.A, played a pivotal role in spearheading what would soon be recognized as gangsta rap, his journey to the upper echelons of the hip-hop world was fraught with challenges and setbacks, internal conflicts within the group, personal traumas, business disputes, and ultimately, a tragic end would mar Eazy's once promising future. Like many rap stars, Eazy's life was tragically cut short, leaving us to contemplate the untapped musical and entrepreneurial potential of this revered artist. Eazy-E was undeniably an innovator in the hip-hop scene, and had he survived, one can only imagine the diverse paths he might have pursued. Perhaps he would have followed the lead of other rappers who reinvented themselves over time. Or, in a manner reminiscent of his bandmate Dr. Dre, he could have played a pivotal role in launching the careers of the next generation of rap artists. Get the tissues ready as we delve into the 8 most poignant aspects of Eazy-E's life, born on a field of war. In the 1980s, Compton was a far cry from its once peaceful suburban image. It had transformed into a troubled community, shedding its appeal for affluent Americans. The exodus of the middle-class population, triggered by the 1965 Watts riots, marked the turning point. What followed was a city grappling with its own demons. During the 70s, Compton found itself in the midst of a brutal gang feud, with the Crips and Bloods taking center stage. The drug trade flourished, and the local police force was notorious for its heavy-handed approach to tackling violent crime. By 1990, Compton had earned the grim distinction of a murder rate that reached an astonishing 91 homicides per 100,000 residents. It was into this turbulent world that Eric Wright, famously known as Eazy-E, was born. His father worked as a postal worker, and his mother was employed by a local grade school. Neither their family, their modest home, nor their neighbors enjoyed the privileges of affluence. So, the question looms. How did Eazy-E manage to break free from these circumstances and make a name for himself? A victim or a dope man? Leaving school behind in the 10th grade, Wright found himself immersed in the perilous world of drug dealing. For him, it wasn't merely about securing a profitable income. It was a means of survival in the tumultuous streets of Compton. In Jerry Heller's memoir, he reflected on the harsh reality of street life, where adopting a protective facade was a necessity. To thrive, one had to wear a mask, assume a role, be it thug, playa, athlete, gangsta, or dope man. Failing that, there was only one role left, one that offered no defense: victim. Details of Eazy-E's days as a drug dealer remain shrouded in mystery. Even Heller, who would later cast doubt on the extent of Wright's involvement in the drug trade, struggled to extract much information from him. Nevertheless, the reputation he earned during those gritty street years would linger long into his career as a rapper, solidifying his place as the unvarnished, authentic face of N.W.A. Eazy-E was involved in drug dealing during his youth. Growing up in Compton during the 1960s was no easy feat, especially for a young Eazy-E. This period marked a significant turning point in Compton's history. Unscrupulous real estate agents engaged in a practice called blockbusting. They spread racist myths about black people to white homeowners, who in response sold their homes at rock-bottom prices. These same homes were then resold to black families at exorbitant rates. Eazy-E's own family was among the first black families to move into the area. During this tumultuous era, manufacturing jobs, which had been the lifeline for most residents, became scarce. This led to skyrocketing unemployment, increased poverty, and pervasive racism. Jerry Heller, N.W.A.'s manager, vividly captured the harsh realities of life in his book, Ruthless. He emphasized that surviving on the streets required wearing a protective mask. Everyone had to assume a role, whether it was being a thug, playa, athlete, gangsta, or dope man. Failing that, the only role left was that of a victim. In this challenging environment, Eazy-E made the tough choice to drop out of high school in the 10th grade and turn to drug dealing for survival. Soon, Eric Wright's life take a sharp turn, a momentous decision that would alter the course of his destiny. He chose to leave behind the murky world of drug dealings, a chapter in his life that might have been more modest than folklore suggests. This transformation wasn't solely a matter of choice. It was spurred by the heart-wrenching and violent death of his cousin, a stark reminder of the treacherous path he had been treading. Meanwhile, in the bustling urban landscape of Los Angeles, the hip-hop scene was on the brink of a revolution. Its roots could be traced back to the 1970s, with the emergence of influential groups like Uncle Jam's Army. By 1983, the stage was set with the establishment of world-class Wreckin' Crew. The West Coast rap movement officially began in 1981 when Duffy Records launched the first-ever rap label in the region. A few years later, Mixmaster Spade birthed the Compton Posse, inadvertently sowing the seeds of what we now recognize as gangsta rap. However, for Eric Wright, the path ahead was steep and treacherous. He had spent the better part of his years dealing drugs on the gritty streets of Compton, devoid of any meaningful connections in the music industry. With no high school diploma to his name and prospects that seemed dim, he embarked on his musical journey in the mid-1980s. His first foray into this new world involved setting up a makeshift recording studio right in his parents' garage, a humble space where the foundations of his future career would be laid. Eazy enters the business. In the hazy summer of 1986, under the smog-filled skies of Los Angeles, Eric Wright, known to some as Eazy-E, embarked on an unlikely journey. He wasn't destined for fame or fortune, at least not in any conventional sense, but fate had a way of orchestrating strange encounters in the City of Angels. One day, in a dusty corner of Compton, Wright crossed paths with Jerry Heller, a man who would become an unexpected ally in his quest to conquer the music world. Heller, a stout figure with a thick mane of silver hair, had a proposition that would change both their lives. According to Heller's memoir, he boldly fronted $250,000 from his own pocket to breathe life into a fledgling dream: the birth of Ruthless Records. And yet, this was just the tip of the iceberg. Over the next few years, Heller would pour another $1 million into the venture, hoping for a return on his investment. In exchange for his financial backing, he secured a modest 20% cut of Ruthless Records' potential profits. But when it came to the day-to-day dealings of this budding empire, there was no doubt. It was Eric Wright's ship to command. With a label now bearing his name, Wright found himself at a crossroads. The city buzzed with the birth of a new genre, gangsta rap, and it was here that his path intertwined with two other local talents, Andre Young and O'Shea Jackson. Unlike Wright, Young and Jackson hailed from more affluent backgrounds, but shared the same burning passion for the raw, unfiltered narratives of gangsta rap. These two musicians, Young and Jackson, were in the midst of crafting material for HBO, part of a group that Wright had previously signed to Ruthless Records. But destiny had other plans. When their creations were deemed unsuitable by their collective, Wright faced a pivotal decision. He chose not to bury the song, but to embrace it himself. And so, in a small, makeshift studio, under dimmed fluorescent lights, the trio of Young, Jackson, and Wright emerged as Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Eazy-E. It was in the year 1986 that these three musketeers came together, creating harmonies that would reverberate far beyond the dilapidated walls of their studio. They christened their alliance with a track called Boys and the Hood, a resonant anthem that would etch their names into the annals of music history. N.W.A comes into the spotlight. N.W.A, a collective that soon welcomed MC Ren, DJ Yella, Arabian Prince, and the D.O.C. into its fold, embarked on a journey to fame that could only be described as meteoric. Their ascent to stardom was nothing short of breathtaking. Their groundbreaking album, Straight Outta Compton, released in 1988, achieved the remarkable feat of going double platinum. Yet it did more than just dominate the charts. It thrust gangsta rap and the gritty reality of LA's violent gang scene into the glaring spotlight of public scrutiny. Their infamy soared to new heights after the FBI issued a stern warning to the group's distributor following the release of Feck the Police. But controversy was never far from N.W.A.'s doorstep. It clung to them like an ever-present shadow. In the early 90s, several members found themselves entangled in criminal charges. Dr. Dre, the creative genius behind N.W.A., became embroiled in a legal quagmire after an altercation with a rap show host in 1991. He would later endure house arrest for separate altercations involving a record producer and a police officer. Meanwhile, Eazy-E, always one to make headlines, opted for a different kind of notoriety. In 1991, he made waves by attending a fundraising luncheon in support of then-President George H.W. Bush. His contribution of $2,500 to the president's cause raised more than a few eyebrows. N.W.A. seemed destined to navigate the turbulent waters of controversy with unwavering audacity. The gradual breakdown of N.W.A. However, N.W.A.'s meteoric rise would prove to be a brief and brilliant blaze. The first sign of trouble emerged in 1989 when Ice Cube, one of the group's pivotal members, parted ways with N.W.A. The catalyst for this breakup was a dispute over his royalties, a bitter issue exacerbated by personal animosity between Cube and the group's manager, Jerry Heller. Despite Cube's exit, N.W.A. pressed on, continuing to produce music. Much of their output targeted Cube, accusing him of betrayal. Inevitably, Cube responded with his own scathing critiques, taking aim at N.W.A., Heller, and Eazy in a series of solo tracks. No Vaseline stands out as a prime example of his fiery rebuttal. This exchange of lyrical blows ignited a full-fledged diss war, fueling escalating animosity. By 1992, even Dr. Dre found himself dissatisfied with the situation at Ruthless Records. He, along with the D.O.C., made a pivotal decision to join Suge Knight's label, Death Row Records. It was a decision that sealed N.W.A.'s fate. Just 6 years after Eazy-E had birthed the group, N.W.A. was no more. Eazy Dre and Cube turned their attention towards individual careers, marking the end of an era. He was forced to sign over musical rights. Eazy-E, a true trailblazer in the world of hip-hop, etched his name in history as the first rapper to own a successful record label, Ruthless Records, back in 1986. His groundbreaking work laid the foundation for future moguls in the industry. Rapper Layzie Bone, in an interview with the Los Angeles Times, acknowledged Eazy's profound impact, suggesting that without him, there might not have been Master P's or Roc-A-Fellas. However, despite his early triumphs, Eazy-E soon found himself embroiled in hardships related to his label. In 1992, he initiated a lawsuit that targeted several music executives, including the imposing and notorious Suge Knight, founder of Death Row Records. Knight was infamous for his intimidating presence and the violent aura he carried within the music industry. Eazy-E's lawsuit alleged that Knight and his associates had threatened him using baseball bats, coercing him into signing away the rights of artists under Ruthless Records. Additionally, Eazy claimed that Death Row Records was involved in money laundering activities. Knight's camp vehemently denied these allegations, and in 1993, Eazy's lawsuit was dismissed. Reflecting on this intense feud between Death Row and Ruthless Records, during an appearance on the Murder Master music show, Jerry Heller, who was closely involved with Eazy and the label, expressed deep regret over the toll that Suge Knight's actions had taken on Eazy-E. Heller didn't mince words, describing Suge Knight as an evil human being, emphasizing that he was a menacing figure then and, in his opinion, had become even worse with time. Heller disclosed a chilling revelation, sharing that Eazy once confided in him about his desire to kill Knight, but he had managed to dissuade him from such a drastic step. Looking back, Heller candidly admitted that he sometimes wished he had allowed Eazy to exact his own form of vengeance on his notorious rival. A bleak medical prognosis. By 1994, Eazy-E began experiencing symptoms that hinted at a potential health issue, initially resembling asthma. However, it wasn't until early 1995 that he decided to seek medical attention, admitting himself to the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. To his shock, the doctors delivered a grave diagnosis: AIDS. During that period, there was a widespread but false belief that HIV/AIDS primarily affected the LGBTQ+ community. Nevertheless, Eazy's doctor suggested that he likely contracted the virus through heterosexual contact. The question of who transmitted AIDS to Eazy-E has fueled considerable controversy since his passing. Over the years, conspiracy theories regarding the origin of his illness have circulated widely, with even those close to him, such as family and colleagues, being implicated. Various individuals, including his rival Suge Knight, his wife Tomika, and even Jerry Heller, have faced accusations of involvement in Eazy's death. However, to date, no concrete evidence has emerged to substantiate these claims. The final days of Eazy. As Eazy-E's health declined, a poignant sense of urgency enveloped him. He understood that his journey was rapidly approaching its final destination. In these precious moments, he embarked on a mission of reconciliation, seeking to mend the bridges that had been strained or broken over the years. Among those he yearned to make amends with were Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, former comrades in the tumultuous world of rap. In his poignant farewell, he crafted a message addressed to his devoted fans, a message that would echo through the annals of hip-hop history. Eazy's words carried the weight of reminiscence, fondly retracing the steps of his remarkable career, especially his turbulent journey with N.W.A. His words bore the gravitas of a plea, an urgent call to action for his young admirers. He implored them to seek the unvarnished truth about AIDS, underlining that he alone bore the responsibility for contracting this devastating disease. Yet, amid the somber reflections, Eazy shared a glimmer of personal happiness. He revealed that he had recently taken the vows of marriage with his girlfriend, Tomika, extolling her virtues as a kind and wonderful mother. In a moment of candid revelation, he acknowledged the complex tapestry of his life, disclosing the presence of 7 children born to 6 different women. He made it clear that his love encompassed all his offspring, and he couldn't help but wonder whether perhaps success was too good for me. As he penned the final lines of his message, a profound sense of resilience and gratitude shone through. Eazy-E acknowledged that he now faced the most daunting battle of his life, an adversary that would test his mettle to the very end. Yet, even in this crucible of suffering, he found the strength to express his deep appreciation. "Much love to those who have been down to me," he wrote, a testament to the enduring bonds he had forged. With heartfelt sincerity, he concluded, "And thanks for your support. Just remember, it's your real time and your real life." The battle for the Wright estate, March 26, 1995, marked the day when Eric Wright, known as Eazy-E, breathed his last, merely a month after learning of his grim diagnosis. Little did anyone know, his passing was just the start of a tangled legal saga that would drag on well into the 21st century. By April 1995, a fierce battle had erupted over Eazy's estate, a fortune estimated to be in the ballpark of $30 million, which included the valuable Ruthless records. The first lawsuit among many was fired off by Mike Klein, a former Ruthless employee. He cast a shadow of doubt over Eazy's marriage to Tomika, suggesting that Eazy, in a heavily sedated state, had been somehow coerced into signing his marriage certificate. Klein even boldly claimed that back in 1992, Eazy had promised him a whopping 50% share of Ruthless records. This war over Eazy's legacy raged on relentlessly, spanning all the way into 2017 and beyond. In a surprising twist, Tomika Woods Wright, who had gained control of Ruthless back in 1995, took her own stepson, Eric Darnell Wright, to court. Her beef? Trademark infringement. Eric Darnell. Wright had ventured into business under the name N.W.A. and had audaciously sought to secure the trademark for Ruthless Records, Inc. for use in his online retail store. The legal saga around Eazy-E's estate unfolded like a never-ending drama, leaving a complex and contentious legacy that stretched far beyond his time. Eazy-E's enduring legacy. Eazy-E's life, although tragically brief, left an indelible mark on the world of music. His legacy is nothing short of monumental. N.W.A, the iconic rap group he co-founded, was just the tip of the iceberg. Eazy's influence rippled through the rap scene, paving the way for countless other artists and groups. William from the Black Eyed Peas credits Eazy-E as his inspiration and mentor. Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, two hip-hop giants, owe much of their success to Eazy's influence. Will.i.am emphasized in an interview with BT that before N.W.A, the term gangsta rap didn't even exist. The spirit of Eric Wright lives on through his 7 children, each carrying a piece of his legacy. One of his daughters, E.B. Wright, embarked on a personal journey to document her father's life in 2013. More recently, in 2015, Eazy-E became the focal point of the Oscar-nominated film Straight Outta Compton. This movie chronicles the meteoric rise of N.W.A and is a heartfelt dedication to the memory of Eazy himself. His influence continues to resonate in the world of music, a testament to the enduring impact of his artistry and persona. What happened to Eazy-E, wife and child? During his critical stay at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, a significant chapter unfolded in Eazy-E's life. He made the heartfelt decision to marry his longtime girlfriend, Tamika Woods, who was also carrying his second child. This poignant event took place around 9:30 p.m. on the evening of March 14th, surrounded by his closest family members. Following Eazy's untimely passing, the reins of his company fell into the hands of his wife, Tamika Woods. However, this transition wasn't without its share of legal disputes, particularly with Eazy-E's eldest son, Wright Jr. Fortunately, as revealed in court records, they managed to find common ground and eventually reach an agreement that brought their legal battles to a close. Why didn't the N.W.A attend Eazy-E's funeral? Eazy-E's funeral was attended by several individuals, although notably, not all members of N.W.A were present. The only N.W.A member known to have appeared at Eazy-E's funeral was DJ Yella. It remains somewhat mysterious why Dr. Dre and MC Ren, Eazy's former N.W.A colleagues, did not attend. DJ Yella revealed in an interview with Radio.com that he and the others never discussed the reasons for their absence. Speculation has arisen that their absence might be linked to issues related to contracts they had signed, which were reportedly highly unfavorable. Eazy-E, often referred to as the godfather of gangsta rap, left behind a remarkable legacy by reshaping the rap culture and introducing a distinctive style to the genre. While he had his share of imperfections, like many influential figures in the industry, he is remembered for his audacious contributions and for popularizing a genre of music that faced significant backlash but ultimately gained immense popularity. His impact on hip-hop and rap continues to be celebrated and remembered. In a different context, Tuco.co.ke featured an article about Autumn Snyder, the daughter of renowned film director Zack Snyder. Her tragic passing brought profound sadness to the director, known for his outstanding cinematic work. Following her unfortunate death, Zack Snyder temporarily stepped away from his professional commitments to prioritize his family and cope with their loss. He also dedicated Zack Snyder's cut of the film Justice League to honor her memory. In conclusion, Eazy-E's tragic real-life story is a heart-rending reminder of the profound impact one individual can have on the world, both through their art and their personal journey. From his humble beginnings in Compton to his pivotal role in shaping the landscape of hip-hop with N.W.A, Eazy-E's contributions to music are undeniable. However, His untimely diagnosis and swift passing from AIDS serve as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of even the most influential figures. Eazy-E's battle with the disease shed light on the importance of awareness, safe practices, and access to health care. His legacy endures not only through his music, but also as a symbol of resilience and creativity in the face of adversity. Eazy-E's story reminds us that, even in tragedy, the impact of an artist can transcend generations, leaving an indelible mark on the world of music and the broader fight for public health awareness.